Captured in the dark void, the forest was quiet. Too quiet. Only the sound of leaves brushing against each other filled the air. But Lena was not thinking about the forest. She was running. Her breath was heavy, her legs weak. Blood dripped from a cut on her forehead. Something was chasing her. She didn't know what they were, only that they were fast and not human. Their glowing blue eyes moved through the dark like ghosts. She had tried to hide, to fight, to escape. Nothing worked. Suddenly a beam of white light shot from above. It lit up the trees like it was daylight. Lena froze. The beam wrapped around her like invisible chains. Her feet left the ground. No, no, please, she cried, kicking and screaming. But no one could hear her. Within seconds, she was pulled up into the sky, disappearing into a silver ship that hovered silently in the dark. Far away, on a quiet space station near Earth, a man sat alone inside a small room. His name was Dane. He was a former soldier, now a space pilot for hire. Most days he took delivery jobs between planets. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. But tonight was different. His old radio device, one he hadn't used in years, started making noise. Static at first, then a voice. "Help me. Anyone. This is Lena Morgan. I'm in Zeta 9. The message was broken, full of static, but clear enough. Dane sat up straight. He hadn't heard that name in years, Lena Morgan. He remembered her. She was a biologist on a peaceful mission. She studied alien plants, not war. She had gone missing 6 months ago. Everyone thought she was dead. But now, her voice was calling, from the most dangerous sector in space, Zeta 9, a place no human came back from. Dane stood up and stared at the signal repeating on the screen. He could ignore it. He could act like he never heard it, but something in his chest wouldn't let him. Back on the alien ship, Lena was thrown into a cold metal room. The door slammed shut behind her. The light was low. The air was thin. She gasped, trying to catch her breath. Footsteps echoed outside. Then the door opened. 3 tall alien figures entered. Their skin was gray and smooth, their eyes glowing blue. They said nothing. One of them pressed a device to her neck. She screamed in pain. "What do you want from me?" she shouted. No answer, only cold stares. They strapped her to a table and began scanning her brain. She felt her memories being pulled. Her childhood, her family, her mission on the green planet, all flashing in front of her eyes. Then, darkness. When she woke up, she was on the floor, weak and shaking. In the corner of the room, another prisoner sat silently. He was not human. He had green skin, small eyes, and looked very old. "You're not the first?" he whispered. Lena turned to look at him. "What do you mean?" "They take many. Humans, others. They test your minds, break your bodies, but you're different. You're still strong." Lena's eyes filled with tears. "I don't feel strong." He looked at her calmly. "That's why you are." Meanwhile, Dane was already in his ship, flying through the edge of safe space. His ship was small but fast. He had erased his ID, shut down tracking, and crossed the line into forbidden territory. The stars looked different here, darker, sharper, almost like knives in the sky. As he flew deeper into Zeta 9, he saw signs of war, wrecked ships, floating metal, and the remains of what looked like Earth technology. No one talked about this place. No one came back to tell. But now, Lena was out there and she was still alive. Dane didn't know why he felt so connected to her. They had only met once years ago, but her voice, it had something in it, something real. He touched the small radio again and played the message once more. "This is Lena Morgan, trapped. Zeta 9, help." His eyes narrowed. "Hold on, Lena," he said quietly. "I'm coming." Back in the alien cell, Lena looked up at the ceiling. The walls were cold, the floor hard, but her mind was awake now. They had hurt her, yes, but they had not broken her. Not yet. Somewhere out there, she hoped. Someone had heard her voice. Someone was coming. She closed her eyes, held her breath, and whispered to herself, "Don't give up." Outside her cell, one of the alien guards paused. He stared at the door for a moment, then walked away. The prison without a name. Lena opened her eyes, but everything was blurry. Her head ached. Her body felt cold, weak, like all the life had been drained out of her. She tried to move but couldn't. Her arms were chained above her head. Her feet were barely touching the cold metal floor. The air smelled of rust and chemicals. She wasn't in a normal cell. This was something much worse. A low humming sound filled the room, steady, unnatural. From the walls, dim green lights pulsed, like the slow beat of a dying heart. Suddenly, the door hissed open. An alien figure stepped inside. It was tall, thin, wearing a long, dark robe that looked like it was stitched from shadows. Its face had no mouth, only two bright silver eyes. It stared at her for several seconds, silent. Then, it raised one long arm and pressed a device against her neck. Pain. Pure, white-hot pain exploded in her skull. Images flashed in her mind, her family, Earth, the green planet she had studied, her research, then blackness. She screamed, but no one came. And still, the alien said nothing. Elsewhere, light years away, Dane's ship flew through uncharted space. The deeper he went into Sector Zeta 9, the stranger things became. One moment, his systems showed nothing. The next, ghost signals flooded his screen. Screams, codes, forgotten voices. He found the wreckage of a human ship, half melted, floating like a corpse in space. The nameplate read, LSV New Hope. It had been missing for 10 years. Dane docked, with the wreck, holding a flashlight and a pulse gun. Inside, everything was covered in dust. Frozen blood floated in the air. In the cockpit, he found the ship's black box and activated the last log. A terrified voice played. "They don't talk. They just watch. They take you when you dream. They—" The recording cut off. Dane's grip on the gun tightened. What were these aliens doing out here? Why were they taking humans? Back in the prison, Lena lay on the floor of her cell. The chains were gone for now, but her body wouldn't stop shaking. Every few hours they came in. They didn't speak. They just looked into her mind. They weren't studying her body. They were studying who she was, her memories, her emotions, her fears. She had tried to count the days, but time meant nothing in this place. There was no sun, no stars. Only endless metal walls and glowing lights. She wasn't alone. There were others. She could hear them through the walls. Screams, whispers, sometimes laughter, twisted and broken. One night, or what felt like night, a small door opened in her wall. A plate of gray food was pushed in, and then a voice. "Eat it. You'll need your strength." She crawled over. A figure was crouched near the wall vent, half hidden in the shadows. His skin was pale green. His eyes were small and full of age. "You're not one of them," Lena whispered. "No," the old creature said, "and neither are you. That's why they fear you." "Fear me." Lena laughed weakly. "They're torturing me." "Yes," the old one said, "because you saw something you weren't supposed to, something that woke them up." Lena stared at him. "What did I see?" He looked away. "The machine, on the green planet. You touched it. It responded to you. That's why they took you." Lena remembered now. A strange alien device, half buried under vines. When she touched it, it had lit up. She thought it was just technology, a remnant from some ancient race. But maybe it was more. Maybe it was alive. And maybe it had called to them. Back on Dane's ship, the black box logs pointed to one place, a moon with no name, orbiting a dying star, hidden from all star maps. Dane set his course. As he got closer, his ship's systems began to fail. Lights flickered. Controls lagged. Something was interfering. Still, he pushed forward. And then he saw it. A massive structure, half buried in the moon's surface. It wasn't built. It was grown. A dark, twisted web of metal and stone that pulsed like a heart. Dane's ship scanned it. It wasn't just a base. It was alive. Inside that living prison, Lena was starting to change. Each time the aliens entered her mind, they learned something. But so did she. She could feel their emotions, their fears, and deep within their thoughts she saw an image, a human face, not hers. A man. He was coming. She didn't know how or when, but someone was coming, and that hope, small as it was, kept her breathing. Inside the twisted halls of the prison, the alien leaders gathered in a circular chamber. One of them hissed in their strange language, "The human girl has seen the core. If she speaks, the other species will come." Another replied, "The fearless one has entered the zone. He carries the same light." A third spoke, "Then both must be broken." In the darkness of space, Dane prepared to land, and deep in the prison, Lena opened her eyes. Her chains were back on, but this time her mind was ready. Echoes in the star space was quiet. Too quiet. Even Dane, who had traveled across systems, flown through asteroid storms, and smuggled tech through war zones, had never felt silence like this. His ship floated just above a dying moon, hidden in the shadows of a red giant star. The moon's surface cracked with faint pulses of light, like veins under the skin of a sleeping monster. He had reached it. The alien prison. The structure buried in the moon wasn't built. It was something else, grown, or maybe even born. Its surface looked like black stone, but it moved sometimes, shifting slightly when no one watched. It didn't just keep things inside, it fed off them. Inside the prison, Lena lay on her back, in the darkness. Her eyes were open, but she wasn't seeing the ceiling. She was seeing visions. Every time the aliens touched her mind, they left a crack behind, and through those cracks, something else was seeping in. She saw flashes, images that weren't hers, a boy on a burning planet, a woman standing on a cliff under two suns, a human, ship exploding in silence, and always the same black structure, the same pulsing heart, the machine she had found on the green planet. It wasn't dead. It had called her. And when she touched it, it had woken up. Now it was inside her, somehow connected to her thoughts, her blood, her pain. She didn't understand it, but the aliens did, and they were afraid. Dane scanned the outer layer of the prison. His ship couldn't get too close. Something in the structure was killing his systems. Electronics flickered, lights dimmed, even the engines began to hum wrong, like they were afraid too. He took a deep breath and locked his gear, a compact blaster, a short-range cloaking unit, and a chip containing Lena's recorded voice. He whispered to himself, "Don't die today." Then he jumped. He landed on the edge of the structure. The surface didn't feel like metal. It felt warm, soft, almost like skin. As he walked along the outer ridge, the walls responded. Shapes moved inside. Sometimes he thought he saw faces, in the stone, pressing from the inside, screaming with mouths that didn't open. Then he heard it. A voice. Her voice. Dane. It wasn't coming from his radio. It was in his head. He froze. Lena was calling him. Somehow, even from deep inside. Her mind had reached out to his. That was impossible. Unless something more than human was happening. Inside the cell, Lena was shaking. The old alien prisoner, Vorn, sat beside her, watching. "I saw him," she said. "The man with the scar. He's close. I don't know how, but I felt him." Vorn nodded slowly. "Your mind has changed. The core inside this place, it knows you, it fears you." "What is the core?" Lena asked. "The first creation," Vorn said. "Not machine. Not life. Something older, something forgotten. Lena looked down at her arms. Her skin was marked. Thin, glowing lines had appeared since her last mind probe. They pulsed with a soft blue light, like data running through her. Veins. They did this to me, she said. No, Vorn replied. The machine chose you. It marked you. Now they cannot erase you. Only destroy you. Lena stood, her legs weak but steady. Then let them try. Dane found an entrance. It wasn't a door. It was more like a mouth slowly opening, inviting him in. Inside, the walls breathed. The floor was soft under his boots. The light was dim but alive, like something watching him from every angle. He activated his cloaking unit and moved forward. Every turn looked the same. Every hallway echoed with strange sounds, screams, whispers, voices speaking languages that had never touched human ears. Then, suddenly, he saw it. A chamber full of pods, humans, dozens of them, floating in blue liquid, eyes closed, wires in their heads. Some were old, some were children. Dane's heart dropped. This wasn't a prison. It was a harvesting ground. They weren't just experimenting. They were feeding off something inside human minds, memories, emotions, fear. Suddenly, an alarm echoed. They had found him. He ran. Behind him, the wall shifted. Aliens dropped from above, silent, quick, armed with blades that curved like bone. Dane fired, hitting one in the chest. It didn't scream. It simply fell and melted into the floor like liquid shadow. He kept running. His device buzzed, tracking the signal from Lena's voice. It was close. Too close. Lena felt it the moment Dane entered the core section. A pulse. Like a heart skipping, a beat. She grabbed the bars of her cell and screamed, "I'm here!" And somewhere deep inside the prison, Dane heard it, not in sound, in his soul. He turned, a door ahead, sealed. He pressed his hand to the surface. It glowed, opened. Inside was Lena, chained, glowing, changed. Their eyes met. No words, just a shared look that said everything. You found me. Now let's get out. But behind him, the wall came alive, and the real enemy stepped forward. The fearless human. Lina couldn't move. Her body was still chained to the wall. Her mind was still heavy from the probes. But her eyes were wide with disbelief. He was real, he had come. Dane, she whispered, her voice barely more than air. Dane stepped into the cell, breathless and bruised, dust and blood on his face. His cloak flickered. His stealth unit was almost dead. He looked at her, scanning her condition, her glowing veins, her pale skin. "You're alive," he said, like he didn't fully believe it. "You came," she whispered. "Of course I did." He rushed to her side. The chains holding her were alive. They pulsed when he touched them. Organic tech. Alien grown. Not something he could just cut, but he had planned for this. Dane pulled out a small device, a spike with a microbomb and an EMP core. "Cover your eyes," he said. Lena nodded. The EMP exploded with a soft pulse. The chains twitched, then cracked and fell like dry vines. She collapsed into his arms. "I've got you," he said. But they were out of time. The core had felt the breach. The prison, the entire structure, began to shift. The walls twisted, closing behind them. The path Dane had taken in was already gone. Somewhere deep inside the alien hive, the elders gathered. They were not like the soldiers. These creatures had no faces, only long black robes and arms that bent the wrong way. Their thoughts were, 1. They didn't speak with mouths, they spoke with will. One word echoed through the walls. Human. Another. Fearless. Another. Kill. But one of the elders hesitated. "She is marked," it said into the hive mind. "The signal is inside her. If we destroy her, the machine may choose another." Silence. Then the leader of them all, tall, ancient, wrapped in dark wires, responded, "Then consume them both." Dane held Lena close as they moved through the maze-like corridors. The architecture was alive, constantly shifting. What looked like a wall would open into a mouth. What looked like a floor could vanish beneath your feet. "I don't remember the way," Lena said, her voice trembling. "That's okay," Dane replied. "I do." He tapped a map onto his wristband, a layout he built while entering. It was failing fast, corrupted by the alien tech. "One chance. One shot," Lena stumbled. "I can't," she whispered. Dane turned and grabbed her shoulders. "Yes, you can. You don't understand. They didn't just torture me. They took pieces of me. My memories. My fears. They fed on them." "I know," Dane said quietly. "I saw the pods. I saw the others." Lena's hands were shaking. "Then you know we won't make it." Dane placed something in her hand, a small memory chip. "What is this?" she asked. "Your journal," he said. "From your ship, before you were taken. You left behind pieces of yourself. I collected them." Her eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she whispered. He smiled. "Let's go. We're not dead yet." Suddenly, the ceiling exploded. Alien guards dropped in, tall, bone-armored, carrying weapons that screamed rather than fired. Dane pushed Lena behind him and drew his pulse pistol. One shot. Two. He moved like a soldier, precise and cold. Lena covered her ears as energy bolts ripped through the air. One alien screamed as it fell. Another lunged at Dane, but Lena screamed and the lines glowing in her arms flared bright blue. The alien stopped, froze in midair, then collapsed, eyes smoking. She stared at her hands. "What was that?" Dane turned, stunned. "You're changing. I didn't mean to." "Don't apologize," Dane said. "You just saved us." They ran again. The alarms were deafening now. The structure groaned, as if in pain. Then they reached a chamber, massive, round, pulsing with red light. In the center was a machine, was the source of it all. It looked like a heart made of stone and light, wrapped in bone and metal. Lena stopped. "I've seen this before," she said. "On the green planet. This is the same, but awake." The machine pulsed as she stepped closer. Dane pulled her back. "Lena, we don't have time. I need to touch it. You don't know what it will do." "I think I do." She stepped forward and placed her hand on the surface. Flash. Her mind exploded with vision. Thousands of years, a war between creators. This machine was built to store knowledge, life itself. It needed a mind strong enough to carry its power. So go. Aliens had found it, tried to control it, but it never chose them. It chose her, because Lena felt, because Lena remembered, because Lena was human. The machine pulsed again, and in that moment every alien in the prison screamed. Back in the elder chamber, the leader collapsed. Its black robes caught fire. Its thoughts shattered. "Too late," it whispered. "The signal has chosen." Dane held Lena as her body glowed, then dimmed. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "I know how to get out." She tapped the wall, and a path opened straight through the prison. "What? How?" Dane asked. She looked at him. "I think it listens to me now." As they moved through the open path, a voice echoed behind them. Deep, layered, inhuman. A figure stepped into the light. It wasn't a soldier. It wasn't a guard. It was the last survivor of the original creators, twisted, half machine, half ancient memory. "You cannot take it," it said. "It belongs to the stars." "No," Lena said calmly. "It belongs to the future." Dane raised his weapon. The final battle was about to begin. The Great Escape. The chamber trembled. The air vibrated with a low-frequency hum that made Dane's bones ache. Sparks fell from the ceiling. The strange ancient being stood between them and the exit. Tall, inhuman, its body a mix of decayed flesh and glowing technology. You carry what does not belong to your kind, it said to Lena. Its voice was not one sound, it was many, like a chorus of dead things speaking as one. Dane raised his weapon. She's not giving you anything. The being didn't move. It didn't need to. Lena stepped forward. You're one of the first ones, the creators of the machine. The being tilted its head. We made it to preserve life. You, human, are chaos. You are war, emotion. You are corruption. Lena's eyes glowed faintly blue now. You're wrong. That's what makes us strong. The being raised its arm. Lena raised hers. Power surged from both. They collided in mid-air, with a shockwave that shattered the walls. Dane was thrown back, hitting the ground hard. He tried to stand, but the floor cracked beneath him and he dropped into a lower level. Lena! He shouted. Above him, the being and Lena floated mid-air, locked in a battle of will and energy. Light flashed. Shadows screamed. The machine, in the center, pulsed faster with every second. Lena gritted her teeth. The pressure in her head was unbearable, but something inside her had changed. The knowledge from the machine was no longer just visions. It was becoming instinct. She stopped resisting. She let the energy in. Her body lit up like a star. She pointed at the being, and it exploded into particles of memory, scattered like dust in the wind. The prison screamed. Every wall, every floor, every corridor began to shift and collapse. The core was breaking. Lena dropped to the floor, gasping. The machine had given her a piece of itself, and now, the rest was dying. She heard Dane's voice faintly, echoing from below. She ran to the edge and saw him trapped under falling debris. Dane! I'm fine, he coughed. Just stuck. She focused, stretched out her arm, and the metal lifted away as if pulled by invisible strings. He looked up at her, eyes wide. You can move metal now? I'm still learning, she said, pulling him up. Behind them, the core cracked open, releasing a shockwave of heat and sound. The prison was falling apart. It wasn't just dying, it was imploding. Lena and Dane ran, corridors twisted like vines pulling themselves apart. Alien guards scrambled in panic. Even the living walls moaned in pain. They passed rooms of screaming prisoners, machines melting, lights going out one by one. Lena stopped. The others, she said. We can't just leave them. Dane looked. At her, then at the crumbling roof. We don't have time. Lena turned to him, eyes glowing. Make time. Dane groaned. Why do I always fall for the stubborn ones? They doubled back, found the containment wing. Dozens of pods filled with humans and other species, some awake, most not. Lena stepped into the chamber. The machine inside her pulsed again. With a single scream, she unleashed a shockwave of light. The pods opened. One by one, the prisoners collapsed to the ground, coughing, alive. We have to move, Dane shouted, helping one of the survivors, a young boy with cybernetic eyes. Lena led the group. She could see paths now, ways out, glowing faintly in her mind like memories she hadn't lived. The machine wasn't guiding her anymore. She was guiding it. They reached the final exit, a hangar bay near the prison's edge. But just before they could reach it, a wall collapsed, and behind it stood the last alien general. Larger than the others, black armor fused to its skin. It carried no weapons. It was the weapon. It let out a roar that shook the survivors to the floor. Dane fired. The shot bounced off. Lena stepped forward. The alien charged. Faster than she expected. It struck her, throwing her across the room. Dane screamed and tackled the beast, hitting it with everything he had. They fought hand to hand, brutal and fast. Dane was good, but the alien was stronger. Bleeding, nearly unconscious, Dane fell. The alien turned to finish him. Lena stood up. Her hands glowed, her eyes blazed. She raised her arms, and the entire wall behind the alien folded inward, crushing the beast with a sound like thunder. Silence, then collapse. The hangar roof was breaking. Lena grabbed Dane. He was fading. You're not dying now, she said. I didn't come this far to lose you. She dragged him into one of the alien ships. The freed prisoners followed, limping, crying, but alive. The ship launched just as the entire moon imploded behind them. From space, it looked like a black sun swallowing itself. Lena watched from the window, holding Dane's hand. The prison was gone, but the signal still pulsed in her veins. Whatever she had taken was still waking up. Dane coughed, half-conscious. "Did we make it?" Lena smiled. "Yeah." He looked up at her glowing veins and whispered, "You're not the same." "I know," she said. "And neither is the universe." Far away on a forgotten satellite deep in unknown space, a beacon lit up. The same signal, the same pulse. Something else had heard it, and it had started to move. Betrayal among stars. The stars looked peaceful, but peace was a lie. Lena sat in silence, staring out of the alien ship's window as it drifted toward the last known human resistance outpost, Station Solace 3, orbiting a dead world hidden behind a dust nebula. Behind her, Dane lay unconscious, wrapped in a thermal blanket. His wounds were healing, but slowly. The prisoners, and about 30 of them, were quiet, dazed, and afraid. Most didn't speak. A few cried silently. Some looked at Lena like she was more than human. Others looked at her like she was something to fear. She wasn't sure which. They were right about, because ever since she touched the machine, something inside her had changed. She could feel things, hear thoughts sometimes, read the truth in people's silence. And worse, she felt like something was always watching her, even in deep space. The ship approached Solace 3. It was old, half-destroyed, and heavily armed, a floating bunker with rotating defense turrets and a blood-red warning beacon flashing over the landing bay. A voice came through on comms. "Identify yourself or be vaporized." Lena stepped forward. "This is Lena Morgan, human, survivor of the Zeta-9 prison facility. We are carrying 30 freed captives. We request landing permission." There was a long pause, then, "Lena Morgan is deceased." Lena's heart dropped. "I'm not." "Scan the ship." "I'm alive." Another pause. Then finally, the turrets powered down. Permission granted. "Welcome to Solace 3. Ghost." The inside of Solace 3 was dim, cold, and tense. Armed guards met them. At the airlock, rifles raised, unsure whether to treat Lena and the survivors as heroes or threats. An older woman stepped forward. Sharp eyes, gray buzz cut, military posture. Commander Rhea Volan. "You were reported dead," she said flatly to Lena. 6 months ago. Your DNA was found on a destroyed pod." "I was captured," Lena replied. "Taken to Zeta-9. That place wasn't just a prison, it was a factory. They were extracting consciousness, human emotion, memory." Rhea narrowed her eyes. "And now you're glowing." Lena didn't flinch. "I touched something ancient. It changed me. I don't fully understand it yet." "We will," Rhea said. "Science deck is ready." Lena frowned. "I didn't come here to be studied. I came here to warn you." "You came here carrying alien tech in your blood," Rhea replied coldly. "And we don't trust things we don't understand." Dane woke up hours later in the med bay. He found Lena sitting alone in a glass-walled observation room, being watched from all sides by soldiers and scientists. He knocked once. She turned. "I told you not to die," she said, managing a weak smile. Dane stepped in, still limping. "What's going on?" "They don't believe me. Or maybe they do. That's worse." He looked around. "This place gives me a bad feeling." "It should," she whispered. "Something's wrong here." That night, Dane began looking. He hacked into the station's internal systems, digging through encrypted logs. What he found chilled him. 2 weeks ago, before Lena's rescue, Solace 3 sent a signal to Zeta-9. A private transmission, coordinates, access codes. It wasn't a rescue. It was a trade. Someone here knew about the prison, and someone wanted it to stay active. Meanwhile, Commander Rhea met with a man in the shadows of a private chamber. His face was hidden, his voice synthetic. "She's not just another survivor," Rhea said. "She carries it." The man nodded. "We've waited years for this, the technology in her blood. It could be the next phase of evolution, or the next weapon. She's unstable. That's why you keep her close. And when the time is right, cut her open." Back in her room, Lena felt something. Pressure, tension, a silent betrayal. She stood, looked directly at the observation glass and said, "I know you're listening." The scientists froze, then alarms blared. Her vitals spiked. Lights flickered. Lena collapsed, screaming, her head filled with a new vision. Earth burning. Human cities falling from the sky. Alien ships not attacking, but following her. A voice inside her. "You are the bridge." Dane burst in moments later, pushing past security. "Get away from her." Lena was gasping for air. They're not gone," she said. "The aliens, the creators, they left something inside me, not just knowledge." Dane looked at her. "A signal." Lena nodded. "They're still listening." That night, Dane and Lena made a choice. They couldn't trust the resistance anymore. Rhea had made a deal. For power, for technology, and they were the currency. As they prepared to escape Solace 3, another secret came to light. The memory chip Dane had given Lena, her journal, had one file left unopened, a recording. She played it. It wasn't her voice. It was her sister's, a scientist, thought to be dead, but the message was clear. "If you're hearing this, it means they've marked you too. The machine is older than any race. It doesn't choose randomly. It chooses bloodlines." Lena dropped the device, her hands trembled. This wasn't just a war, this was personal, and in deep space far beyond Solace 3, something was coming. A massive ship. Silent, cloaked, alive, listening to the signal inside Lena's mind. It had heard her scream, and now it was answering. Revenge and redemption. The warning lights on Solace 3 turned red. But this wasn't a drill. A ship had appeared outside the station. A massive alien vessel, silent, black, and impossible to track. It had no engines, no lights, no weapons visible. It simply existed like a piece of space had come alive. Then it spoke, not in sound, in thought. "Return the vessel. Return the signal. Return the mind that was stolen." Inside her room, Lena collapsed, clutching her head. The voice was inside her again, but now it was different. It wasn't trying to control her, it was begging. Dane kicked open the door. "Lena!" She looked up, eyes glowing bright blue. "They're here." "Who?" he asked. "The Origin, the machine's creators. Or maybe the machine itself. I don't know anymore. It's all connected." Dane helped her up. "Then let's end this." Commander Rhea stood in the command deck watching the alien ship approach. "Lock weapons," she ordered. One officer hesitated. "Commander, if we fire on that, we die." Rhea's voice was cold. "Then we die trying." But before any missile could launch, every screen on the station went black. A symbol appeared, a perfect circle. Inside it, a blue eye. And from every speaker on the ship, one voice echoed. Humanity must decide, evolve, or repeat. Lena and Dane reached the hangar bay. She stopped and turned to him. "I don't think this ends with escape. I think I'm the key." He grabbed her shoulders. "No, you're not a weapon. You're a person." "I'm both," she said, "and I have to choose who I become." Dane's voice broke. "Then don't become like them." She leaned forward, kissed his forehead. "I'm not going anywhere without you." They launched in a stolen scout ship, heading directly toward the alien vessel. It didn't fire, it opened. Inside they found nothing, no soldiers, no aliens, just one chamber. At its center, a massive sphere floating, pulsing with blue energy. It spoke again, directly to Lena. You touched the machine. It accepted you. You carry our lost history, but your kind destroys what it does not understand. She stepped forward. So teach me. Don't punish all of us for the fear of a few. You were tortured by us. You should want revenge. I did, Lena whispered, but I'm tired of being angry. The sphere pulsed brighter. Then make your choice. We offer you the code, the key to reshape your kind. But once given, it cannot be undone. Dane stepped in. Don't do this. Lena turned to him. They'll come for me again. If I run, I'll spend the rest of my life hiding. But if I accept this, maybe I can stop them before they start. You don't owe anyone anything, he said. She smiled. That's why I can choose freely. She stepped into the light. Her body lifted. The ship vibrated. Every alien structure across the galaxy, every prison, every machine, every core, flickered and went silent. The voice spoke one last time. It is done. She collapsed into Dane's arms. The glowing lines on her skin were gone. Her breath was weak, but she smiled. They gave it to me. Everything. Their history. Their code. Dane held her tight. You're okay now. No, she whispered. I'm human now. Fully. They returned to Solace 3. Rhea had been arrested by her own crew. The secret was out. She had sold lives for power, and now her command was over. The survivors from Zeta 9 were relocated. The galaxy knew the truth, and Lena became more than a survivor. She became a bridge. Months passed. Lena and Dane lived aboard a small research vessel traveling from system to system, sharing the truth, teaching others what the aliens had hidden. Sometimes she felt the presence again, the machine still watching, still waiting. But it never spoke again, because it no longer needed to. One night, under a strange sky with 2 moons, Dane asked her, Do you ever regret it? Touching that thing? She looked at him and smiled. No, because if I hadn't, I never would have found you. Final transmission received. End of log. Subject, Lena Morgan. Status, alive. Changed human. The end.